Nalin Kohli of the BJP versus Abid Rasool Khan of the Congress, Gaurav Bhatia of the Samajwadi Party versus H.S. Fulka of the Aam Aadmi Party. He's a senior advocate of the Supreme Court, and Dr. Ajay Alok. Thank you very much. Let's begin the debate. Nalin Kohli, just a matter of clarification. Does this mean that the case against Nihal Chand, who is a Union Minister of State for Chemicals and Fertilizers in connection with an alleged rape case and who faces a show cause notice by Jaipur court, will this be expedited also?
Well, I think it would hold true for everybody. Why would there be any exceptions if anyone has a case against them?
So does this mean that the case against Sanjeev Balian, your Minister for Agriculture and Food Processing Industries, who is a riot accused in the Muzaffarnagar riots case, that will also be expedited?
Well, I think, Mr. Goswami, even if there are any matrimonial disputes of Section 498, or if there are any domestic violence cases, or even anyone falsely put by anybody like, from a Congress-ruled state on a BJP person, they will also get included. So all cases, I don't think there is any exception.
You will expedite the case against Yediyurappa, who faces corruption charges. Welcome back into your party in the run-up to the general elections.
Mr. Goswami, it will be against everyone, including Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, if the court decides to frame charges.
Hukum Singh, riot accused in the Muzaffarnagar cases, who made those inflammatory speeches at the Mahapanchayat, he's also going to be, his cases will be expedited?
It will be against anyone. Should there be a false case on you or a true one on you and you became a member of parliament, you will be included.
Thank God,
I think there is no
I will remain a journalist till I die. My question to you is it true that about 100 BJP MPs, that's approximately 35 to 36% of your winners, are all facing criminal charges against them?
Well, that is what the ADR report says. So they are going only by what the affidavit says.
Now my last question. Now my last question.
I haven't finished.
Now my last question to you. I just want to make the point.
Mr. Goswami, you always... Well, let me just finish my point. I just had a part of a sentence left, that's all. And I said that given the fact that the Supreme Court has said it and the Prime Minister, two important institutions in the country, I would go with the matter of faith.
So this matter of faith is wonderful, but I just saw a few days back an agency called the CBI do a 180-degree U-turn on the high-profile case of corruption pertaining to a political leader just 2 months after you came to power. You remember this VK Singh case, right? Where the CBI claimed lack of evidence against Tejinder Singh and is now saying, how do we disbelieve the Chief of Army Staff whose version is being supported? So I'm just wondering here, one second. So this so-called expediting cases against political leaders probably could end up being a self-serving exercise. Because, we saw the 180-degree U-turn in the case of VK Singh.
May I answer?
Yeah.
Well, actually, Mr. Goswami, it's not supposed to be a self-serving exercise or, a self-goal. It's supposed to be about cleansing politics. That's the intent.
You've not wanted to cleanse politics. Come on, Mr. Nalin Kohli. If you wanted to cleanse politics, is it true that you gave tickets to 24 members of parliament who have charges framed against them? Was that part of cleaning politics?
Absolutely. No.
Were you trying to clean politics when you did that?
True for every political party.
No, but I'm asking about you. Since you claim you want to clean politics.
This is a larger issue. You may look at it in your way. You are entitled to do so.
Were you trying to clean politics by giving them?
As far as we are concerned, when the Prime Minister said expedite the cases, it does not anywhere say that we would like to exclude the BJP MPs.
No. You're making a claim you want to clean politics.
I don't know where your presumption is coming from.
Presumption is that, for example, there is, this man called Kachadiya Naran Bhai Bhika Bhai, dacoity 1 IPC section 395, robbery IPC section 392, robbery or dacoity with attempt to cause death or grievous hurt section 397. I can go from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, and I will still not end the cases against him now by putting people like him as...
Just for a sense of balance, I'm sure you will be asking the other panelists.
No, I will. I'm just, because you're making the claim, you're taking the initiative, you're taking the copyright. You're saying I have the copyright of cleaning up the system. That's why I'm questioning you. Now I'll question
it's not about a copyright. No. You might approach it as a journalist of an eminent channel as a copyright. This is the Prime Minister serving the people of India. You're entitled to be skeptical, but he's basically doing what he promised.
We'll get reactions now to the BJP representative. It's an open debate. Who'd like to go first? Gaurav Bhatia is on the debate. Abid Rasool Khan, whoever wants to take... Yes, Gaurav Bhatia, please, first.
Arnab, I would just like to say this, that the move is welcome because it is under the directions of the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court said that the trial be expedited and be completed within 1 year. But as we all know, the BJP is one of those party that they have a hidden plan always. So as you correctly said that whether it is Sanjeev Balia or Uma Bharti or it is Vittal Bhai, you know, these are people who are otherwise facing serious charges. But I hope the BJP would not try to manipulate the CBI or the other agencies to serve the interest of these MPs and MLAs.
You think they will?
That for sure is a concern.
You think they will?
I am sure that they would. I am sure.
Fulka.
The example that you gave, the CBI took a U-turn immediately after the government came to power. Do we not need to question why the CBI has taken a U-turn now? And why would the same not happen when their own legislators like Sangeet Som, Sanjeev Balia and Uma Bharti will be facing trials? I'm sure they would utilize every weapon in their armory.
The hand goes up by Nalin Kohli out there, but I'm going to go to Mr. Fulka because I'll come back to Nalin Kohli. I thought today you would be part of the cheering brigade for the BJP. I thought today you would be wedded to the BJP on the debate. You know why? Because you have the dubious distinction. Well, let me complete. You have the dubious distinction of having 50% of your representatives in the assembly in UP, 50% have declared criminal cases against them. No political party in India comes close to you when it comes to MLAs with declared criminal cases against them.
Let me now clarify.
So, Raja Bhaiya is a minister in your government. He faces a fresh investigation into the death of a superintendent of police. Have you removed him? Is that clean politics?
Let me clarify. I think factually you are incorrect, and why I'm saying this is because it is one thing to be covered under the Section 8 subclause 1 and Section 8 subclause 3.
But why are you trying to complicate a simple issue? Why are you trying to complicate a simple issue?
Criminal case.
Sir,
no, I'm not complicating.
Sir, you have the world record.
Can you equate a crime under rioting or arson with that of murder or inciting communal feeling?
These are
the serious charges that the BJP MLAs and MPs face.
Sir, 1 second. You know,
and you can't compare the two.
Sir, you should actually. You have a world record today. Not in the insensitivity of your party leaders, but that 1 out of every 2 ministers have declared criminal cases against them in 2012. I'll share the statistics with you after the program. HS Fulka wanted to come in. HS Fulka, the BJP claimed earlier that we want to clean up politics. That's why we are doing it. HS Fulka responding to Nalin Kohli and Gaurav Bhatia. And by the way, Ajay Alok and Abid Rasul Khan, please know it's an open debate. Yes, Mr. Fulka.
The criminals should not be the lawmakers. The move is welcome, but unfortunately, the intention is clear by 2 statements by 2 spokespersons of the BJP. Meenakshi Lekhi said there are false cases. And Mr. Kohli just now said the cases registered in the Congress-ruled states. This appears to be the intention. This is no longer hidden. This has come out. What is the purpose? Why they want to expedite it? To get cleared their own people. Unfortunately, otherwise, the Supreme Court has said the criminal should not be sitting in the parliament to make the laws. That is a laudable move, but the intention has now very clear, it has come out in the open what the BJP wants to do in that garb of that.
Nalin Kohli has his hand up. I'm sorry, Abid Rasul Khan. Before I come to you, I'm going to go to Ajay Alok. 1 minute, please. Yes, Nalin Kohli.
Just a very brief point. I'm sure Mr. Fulka, as a very eminent lawyer, is not actually believing that the courts will do what the BJP says. I'm sorry to believe we don't live in the 70s when emergency was in action. This is a free country and the judiciary is independent. The second point I'd like to make is that perhaps he's going to be representing his eminent colleagues, Mr. Ashutosh, and if I am not, I think charge sheet has been filed, and perhaps he's going to also represent the eminent Somnath Bharti, who's a great lawyer himself, if the charge sheet has been filed so far.
Right. Thank you.
None of them is a member of parliament. They are not the lawmakers.
Well,
we are talking about the lawmakers today.
They are MLA. One of them is an MLA and a former law minister of Delhi. Just thought I'd bring it to the point. That's all.
Mr. Fulka, I think you concede that from what I see.
Mr. Kohli, you have pointed
concede
out
that.
as far as
Arnav.
the BJP,
Arnav,
as far as the BJP cannot influence,
the real question is,
Mr. Kohli, now it
just
has
see
come
these
out
two
recently,
examples
how do the
of
government
Mr. Harin
manipulate
Pathak.
and how do the government interfere in the judiciary. And I have seen in 1984 cases also how the government does the manipulations. That is the only apprehension. If this government also start doing it, the manner in which the Congress government has been doing in the past.
Well,
Well, I mean, it's an apprehension, but I think the Aam Aadmi Party has shown what kind of governance it is there, barging into women's houses, trying to do forcible tests and whatnot. So I think that's not an apprehension, that's a fact on which Mr. Bharati is there. It's on national
That's not
TV.
answer to that. That is not answer to.
No, Mr. Fulka, I'm just telling you that this applies to everybody. I'm just saying that the investigation and the courts will apply to everybody, and what's a welcome step? You may wear a political hat today, but you are an eminent lawyer, and you also know that.
to the Congress party, Ajay Alok, I think you want to come, but to the Congress party, would you like to congratulate the BJP for what they have done? Because let's look at it in a different context. What was your government doing till the last minute? Till the last day, your government was desperately trying to cover up the black money issue. On your last day in office, you filed a review petition seeking review of the court's decision to constitute an SIT in the black money issue. That was what Manmohan Singh government did. Today, the BJP government says we'll clear the cases. It doesn't say we clean up the cases. It doesn't say the MPs and politicians will be cleared. They say the cases which will be cleared, which means the politicians can, if required, be indicted as well. So Abid Rasul Khan, if you just, because you are representing a party whose governments or union ministers resigned for corruption, financial impropriety, embezzlement. After all of this, this would be a refreshing change for the people of the country. You agree, Mr. Abid Rasul Khan? Though Gaurav Bhatia questions the motives.
Let me come in and give me a minute. There are two issues in this. One is the action and one is what you are trying to project. As long as you are trying to project that you are for expediting the cases, we are with you and we will support the expedition of the cases. But as far as your actions speak, it is totally contrary to what you are trying to show.
Give an example.
You have appointed your party
Give an
president.
example.
Let me complete. You
No,
have
give
appointed
an example.
your party. Yeah, I'm giving an example. Yes, I'm giving an example. You have appointed a party president who is still in a mire of number of serious cases, and then you say that we are trying to clean up the system. On the second stage, you see in Gujarat what my friend Mr. Narendra Modi is trying to show, that false cases are being foisted in Congress states. In Gujarat,
why are you bringing Amit Shah into this?
A week back. No, because your actions, you are going to be headed by a person who is mired in serious cases, and then you say that I want to clean up the government. How is that possible? You have to start your action and examples from your own home, from your own house. You need to set in the examples for the country to see and the world to see. Now look at Gujarat. You had Supreme Court on 17 July throwing out the case of Surat twin bomb blast and coming down heavily on the Gujarat police. Before that, a month before that, you had the Akshardham case being thrown out. Before that, you had Maulana Nasiruddin case thrown out. In all these cases, Supreme Court has told very strongly that these cases were foisted, they were made and manipulated. And people like Vanjara, who is in the jail, were the investigation officers. In such a situation where you have ruled a state in such a way, what message are you going to give to the country?
So you suspect their motives. You suspect their motives.
No, I suspect that this is only a fracas being shown to mislead the country, that we are trying to do this. But the facts remains that your actions are against what you are trying to show to the country.
Well, are you in a position to say that this is anything, this is all, because I remember just a couple of days back, a secret letter from your Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, proves that your government directly acted to protect a corrupt judge. You forgot that? What was your Prime Minister doing? Why were you quiet then on that day? Why did the Congress boycott the Newshour? Why did the Congress boycott the Newshour day before yesterday? Are you in any position to speak?
Did not boycott.
You boycotted the Newshour?
You know me, I have appeared on behalf of my party in all the difficult times.
Sir, I am saying to you.
No, the point is.
I am saying to you, I am only placing your track record. I don't want to embarrass you. Two ministers resigned for corruption, Raja and Maran. one for a case of financial impropriety. 1 minute. One minister for trying to influence an investigation. One minister for his nephew's involvement in a scam. One high-profile MP for being charge-cheated in the CWG scam. You are in no position today, sir. And it's not because you have 44
whenever our
MPs.
ministers, whenever the minister, yeah, let
You are
me
in
complete.
no
Whenever the
position.
ministers came under a cloud, they were made to resign. But on the opposite, you see a person who is mired into cases, and you see a person being given
I
the
think
highest
we are
of the
getting a
positions.
response.
So there is a difference between what is happening and what has happened.
No.
In our
Nalin
case-
Kohli,
yes, in our
coming back to
case,
the
we have
debate.
made
Before
them
we take
resign.
the first break on the
can
news
I
hour tonight. Nalin
come
Kohli,
in?
Ajay Alok will respond to Nalin Kohli after that.
Well, I mean, just a
Mr. Kohli.
sentence. Mr. Abid Rasool Khan, you've been, pontificating for a while, but just a simple question. There are summons against Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi, or you feel they are imaginary, those summons from the court on the National Herald case? So, I mean, if anyone has done wrong, the courts will take cognizance. What are you here pontificating about BJP and the Congress? I mean, anyone who's guilty should be in jail, and anyone who's not guilty should be absolutely free. So are you not agreeing on that?
I agree.
Or would you like to have two sets of
I'm
standards?
agreeing.
We can commit crimes and
Mr.
be
Nalin, I'm
free,
trying to tell you.
whereas the
That is what I'm
BJP, if
trying
they
to
are
tell you.
free
If
or if
you
they
take
are
the example
innocent
of all
also,
the
they
three
should be in
serious
jail.
cases which
What
were
are we
thrown
talking
out.
about? I'm
In all
confused.
these cases, false charges were filed. And all these people have
So you
spent
do
about
have
10 to
faith in
15
the
years in
court.
jails being innocent.
You have faith in the court.
They
So
have
a
been
speedy
innocent. They have
expediting
been
of the
proved
cases
innocent,
is
and
good
they have
or
spent
not?
15 years on false cases. You don't regret that. You don't regret
Mr.
that. And now
Abid
you're talking
Rasool
of a
Khan.
summon,
So you
which
should
is-
be
which is-
welcoming
which
it.
is on a
Am I
case
getting it
filed
right
by
or
a
getting it
fourth
wrong?
party man,
If
and
you
which
say
has
there
no
are
basis
false
to be filed.
cases and the Supreme Court came out, shouldn't you be welcoming a false
Supreme
case?
Court comes down.
Or are you
heavily on
confused,
you.
Mr. Abid
When
Rasool
Supreme Court
Khan?
says that all these cases are filed,
At this point,
you do not get moved by it.
Ajay Alok,
Arnab, can I
Dr.
come in?
Ajay Alok.
Khan,
Arnab,
by screaming, you are not making a point.
Arnab,
thanks
And
for
by
letting me
speaking
in.
non-stop, you're not making sense
Question
either.
from Dr. Ajay Alok
Me
of
to
the
ask you just
BJP.
one thing.
Ajay Alok of the
If a case is
BJP is
false
asking
and
the
the court
question to
decides
you.
fast,
The BJP
is that
can we have
welcome
both
or
on
is
the
it not
screen, please?
welcome?
Ajay Alok is asking you a question, please. Hear him, please. Nalin Kohli. Ajay Alok of the JD.
I have a complete different perspective attached. Yeah, I have a complete different perspective attached to this. When I got an invite today from you regarding this topic, I was a bit surprised that just 2 months in the office and on such a good topic, he should be congratulated. It shows that the man has some vision. Then I just realized that there are many other issues facing the country, price rise, corruption and all this. He is not looking after that, and why going for this tainted netas? It can be done later stage. Then I went through the news. Then I got to know that today when the meeting of the cabinet was held with Mr. Rajnath Singh and with Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, there were two agendas simultaneously. One, this clearing out the hush of the netas to be expedited within 1 year, and the second agenda, which was simultaneously passed, was setting up of a judicial commission and abolition of collegium of Supreme Court for appointment of judges. Then I realized that the motive is not about the netas. The grand motive is abolition of collegium and setting up of a judicial commission at a time when you don't have a leader of opposition, when you don't have any framework, but you want to appoint judges, and use this as cleaning up politics as a hush-up, as an alibi that we have to expedite against the netas also. But the main agenda lying behind the RSS and Mr. Modi, the grand agenda is that they will set up a judicial commission without a leader of opposition, without anything. They will have their own judges appointed, and then they will take the judiciary in their own hand. This is something very dangerous. Why this is not being taken care of, and why nobody is taking this. This is the main aspect, and this is the cleaning and hush up of netas is just an alibi, because out of 282, 98 of them are themselves facing the criminal charges. In every state they have those MLAs.
So you want the
this
cases
is nothing
to be
just
dragged
an
on?
eyewash. The main agenda is
You want the cases to be dragged on?
the cases will drag on. The cases, once the judicial commission is set up and the collegium of the Supreme Court is abolished and the judges will be appointed according to their wish, the judiciary will come under their control. This is the grand desire.
Okay, 1 second. I take a break at that point and Mr. Nalin Kohli will respond. 2 hands go up, 3 hands up. 4 participants want to come back into the debate, and so do I. At this stage of the debate, questions are being raised about the motives of the BJP. The opposition leaders are saying tonight, Nalin Kohli, and you'll have to answer this, that this is not a plain vanilla clean motive of cleaning politics. The real motive is somehow of diluting the powers of the judiciary, and then also saying that we'll try and force the cases out in a year, which means clean the matter. And by the way, Nalin Kohli, you haven't answered to the question of the U-turn the CBI did in the VK Singh case. These were the charges you asked. You used to ask earlier, are agencies becoming caged parrots of the government. Tonight, Mr. Nalin Kohli, you have to answer 4 panelists, but that's going to be on the other side of the break. At this stage of the debate, before I go back to Nalin Kohli, who has to answer 4 panelists, we have 3 hands going up. I'd like to go back to H.S. Fulka. Mr. Fulka, just, if the other way of looking at it is that you would be complaining if the cases were dragged on. What did the Congress party do? It mastered the art of dragging CBI cases against leaders, dragging the prosecution process, ensuring that the agency doesn't get back and putting them like a Damocles sword over leaders' heads. At least you can be now sure that the BJP won't try to do that. Why won't you appreciate the BJP for that instead of casting aspersions from day one? Yes, please, Mr. Fulka.
You see, the move to clean up the politics is a very laudable move, but unfortunately what creates a doubt is that 98 out of their own MPs out of 281 faces the criminal charges.
Okay.
13 ministers are facing the very serious criminal charges.
But they say we are not the only ones.
In the present, so in the present parliament, if the cases are decided, 53 MPs now which will be disqualified.
Right.
Now, if the cases are decided. Now, most of these cases are dragged for 10 years. They need to be decided, absolutely no doubt about it. We are for it. This needs to be done. But the only doubt is the intention with which what they are doing. That is the only doubt. Otherwise, we totally support the move. This needs to be done.
So the point is that actually his points are right. I thought the number was 97. You say it's 99. So the argument being put, Nalin Kohli, and I think on this one you really will be cornered, because what he's saying is if you wanted to clean up politics, you wouldn't have 97 MPs with criminal charges. This is a classic situation. You put up people with criminal charges, you put up people with serious criminal charges, you get them elected, and then you try to clean up their records by saying we'll clean it up in a year. So what you're doing is you're actually encouraging, you in a way are encouraging people with criminal backgrounds to fight elections.
13 ministers. 13 ministers,
he says. Aam Aadmi Party says to you.
Now
you see,
Aam Aadmi Party says 13 ministers.
Nihal Chand rape case. Sanjeev Balyan, Muzaffarnagar riots.
That's true.
Let me answer, Mr. Fulka. In fact, Mr. Goswami eminently at the beginning of the program read out a list to us. Mr. Fulka, your leader, Mr. Kejriwal, says I am an anarchist. So I believe your motive in joining the Aam Aadmi Party is to spread anarchy?
Is that BJP's answer to a rapist minister?
No, I mean, I'm just simply saying.
I'm sorry to say, if that is the BJP's answer to a rapist minister, then what will happen to this country?
My answer is as ridiculous as the motive you are assigning after being a lawyer.
That has been unfortunately, you started with Ashutosh.
No, it's not. Mr. Modi, as the Prime Minister of India, has said in 1 year, the courts will finish the issue.
Who came out to beat up Ashutosh?
You went ahead, had your chance of making allegations at me and my party. Have the patience to at least hear, Mr. Fulka. I mean, you can at least give me my due to answer you back. You are raising questions on Mr. Modi and the BJP's intent. Whereas on the other side, you are saying it's a welcome thing. You have to take a stand of your party. Obviously, you are a political spokesperson. But as a lawyer, you know, the courts are not going to function under the pressure of Mr. Modi or anyone from the BJP. And if they have a mandate to finish it in a year, and they pronounce people guilty, good. Shouldn't they be in jail?
That is the motive.
No. So, one second. The response of the BJP is...
The way you have handled the case.
The BJP responses...
You want court to function according to Mr. Modi.
No, 1 second. Which one of them? That's Nalin Kohli versus 4. We'll have to decide which of you take him on next. Ajay Alok, 1 second. Ajay Alok quickly wants to make a point before I come to you.
I can answer Mr. Ajay Alok's point from the last...
Ajay Alok, go ahead.
That's what I'm saying.
Ajay Alok.
That Mr. Modi and RSS has a broad agenda. They want to function the judiciary of this country according to their whims. That's why the second agenda was more important. That is abolition of collegium of the Supreme Court and setting up of a judicial commission for appointment of judges all across the country. This is the main agenda, because if they have their own judges, they can get them acquitted.
No, this is very serious.
Let
You are
me just
making an
answer that.
accusation that the courts will be managed.
Let me answer
You may
that.
want
How
to
can you have a
reconsider.
judicial commission without leader of opposition? What will be the
Let me answer
constitution
that.
of judicial commission?
Oops, lost the line there.
Mr.
Gaurav
Goswami, I can
Bhatia
take
also
one or
coming
six
back.
also
One
if you
second,
just
Nalin
allow me
Kohli,
to
before I
answer,
come to you.
please.
Gaurav Bhatia also is questioning you because there are 4 against you, 2 at a time versus
answer
you.
this because
Gaurav
this is a
Bhatia.
specific point.
Gaurav Bhatia to Nalin Kohli.
It is not only about manipulating the judiciary or having a committed judiciary, which is definitely a fear. There is a larger fear. Today, the central government is of the BJP. Would they be manipulating the investigating agencies which prosecute? That is the question, like CBI. They have state governments in number of states. Would the prosecuting agency there prosecute these MPs and MLAs? I don't think so, because they have mastered the art of manipulating these agencies, and therefore the only reason why they are expediting the trials are because they want their MPs and MLAs should be cleared and the dagger should not hang on their head. That is the real purpose behind this. However, the decision is welcome. It is, if it is
There you are.
fairly
You can't have your cake and eat
all
it
across
too.
India.
You can you criticize it
Arda,
and you also welcome it because you know
I
you'll
am
be the biggest
criticizing-
beneficiary. 50% of your
criticizing-
MLAs have cases against them. You know, this is so.
I am criticizing it because the
Mr.
CBI
Goswami,
has
may I
been
now answer
manipulated
these
by
two
the
allegations?
BJP
Nalin
even
Kohli.
after coming to power right now.
No,
as you pointed out.
Nalin
That
Kohli.
is why I am questioning the
Nalin
motive.
Kohli, a double-edged sword, says Ajay Alok. You want to get a judiciary that is pliant, a judiciary that does your bidding, and then you want to say the judiciary will take the decisions vis-a-vis the MPs. A deep conspiracy, says Ajay Alok, and Ajay Alok is suggesting that you want to manage the judiciary. Abid Rasul Khan, before you come in, Nalin Kohli will now respond to him. Go ahead, Mr. Kohli.
Well, I think Dr. Ajay Alok has done a fantastic piece of a conspiracy theory. He needs a pen, a few pads of paper. He can be the next Dan Brown in the making. He doesn't understand governance, and that's as simple as that.
Well, don't worry about me. Think of the agenda that has been passed by the cabinet today.
Let me finish, Dr. Ajay Alok. Unfortunately, I have decency to listen to people.
Go ahead.
I'm only asking you of you to the same standards. So let's go back to the top. If at all there is a change in how the judges' selection process is done, it needs to be passed by Parliament after due consultation process. Once it is passed from Parliament, it's going to fall in place in due time. Whereas here we are talking of a Prime Minister who's saying in the next 1 year. So therefore your idea of saying that all the judges are going to be as part of this big conspiracy really doesn't hold true. These two are independent, and I'm glad the government is not waiting. Coming from a party that is just aligned with the RJD, a leader, Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav, who didn't deem it fit that even cattle should have enough to eat in his state in 15 years. Don't give us all this yarn. You want to write conspiracy theory? Become the next Dan Brown. There are so many people who can aim for different prizes at the international fora.
I love the sarcasm with the BJP's attack on the JDU tonight. I think we'll all have to find publishing houses for political leaders at this stage at which they are throwing compliments at each other. My question to the Congress party, running short of time tonight, and I will let you give a reply.
No, I would like to just say one thing. It seems to me that Nalin has not done his homework properly.
If you don't like Dan Brown, you can pick up Jeffrey Archer.
In all the news, in all the TV, he would have come to know that the setting of a judicial process and judicial commission is to be taken in the next 6 months. Whereas the expedition of the cases is being talked about for 1 year. Please look at the time frame, sir. And then you tell me which is going to be the first process. And that's why I'm telling that cleaning of the MP is an alibi. So that how you can get this judicial commission passed in the parliament. These two are interrelated. And that's what every political party has to take a look into.
On the judges.
What do you want
in the later future? Quick comment.
You want a right-wing
I take back my Dan Brown comment. I take back my Dan Brown comment. Jeffrey Archer is more suitable given that Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav and he both spent time in jail. It's more appropriate to your alliance.
My last question
again you're taking
my last question is to the Congress party, and my question is Mr. Abid Rasul Khan.
I can't answer conspiracy
if Narendra Modi would have announced, if Narendra Modi,
I don't like fiction, I'm a political person.
I presume Mr. Abid Rasul Khan that you would have congratulated Narendra. See, since you're criticizing him for trying to say we'll close cases in a year, the opposite must be true, that you would have congratulated him if he had said, I will not do anything to ensure that cases against politicians close quickly. You would then have congratulated him? Or would you have criticized him then also?
No, Anna, we are trying to.
Regardless,
put,
therefore,
words in my
is
mouth.
the logic
fact
that you
is-
criticize him if he does, and you criticize him if he don't.
No, let me answer you straight. I am saying that the actions are not what they are speaking. The actions are totally contrary to what they are speaking. Now, the fact remains that in judiciary, without putting any aspirations and without lowering the prestige of the judiciary.
Sir, but you are
if
not
take
saying
the
anything.
example of
Ajay Alok
cases-
is talking of managing the judiciary. I didn't see you respond even once.
I
didn't see you
really do
question
not
Ajay
want to. No, let me be very frank. I do not want to cast any aspirations on the highest body of the judiciary. But the fact is
Didn't
that
Ajay Alok do that?
in Gujarat, in all the cases where there were rapes, the public prosecutors have worked against the victims, and all these cases were thrown out, and all these public prosecutors were associated to a right-wing organization. So if this is the type of justice and this is the type of example you are going to set in, every action of yours will be under question. Every action of yours will be under question.
What about 1984?
It's a very dangerous trend.
I'm sure Mr. Fulka also has enough to speak about it.
That's right. That's what the Congress did in 1984.
UPA 1 and
Congress
UPA
did
2.
precisely the same thing in 1984.
Precisely.
They also-
And what did the 1 minute, Mr. Fulka? Mr. Fulka has first-hand experience. I want to ask Mr. Fulka, what did the Congress party do to expedite the prosecution process since 1984? What did the Congress party do, Mr. Fulka, to ensure that the evidence was collected, that the evidence was looked at and it was acted upon? What did they do? You are one person. In fact, that is the question I have for you, which is the last question. I have tremendous regard for the manner in which for over several decades you have been fighting this case. Mr. Fulka, there is nobody better than you to know.
I share that regard for Mr. Fulka, and I'm saying it on the record.
Yes, and Mr. Fulka, everybody has great respect for the manner in which you pursued these cases at great personal risk and at a great personal cost. My question to you tonight is, there is nobody, perhaps few people better than you equipped to comment today on what happens when justice gets delayed. So let us take the political lens aside. Let us forget, Mr. Fulka, that you have an affiliation to the Aam Aadmi Party. As someone who has seen what happens when justice gets delayed, would you not say that simply to expedite cases is a damn good thing in India? Maybe we'll have a few convictions at least.
Thank you so much for your compliment. But I have seen, Arnav, the way the manipulations are done.
By whom?
Now
By the Congress
has saved their leaders. By the Congress, they have saved their leaders. Kamal Nath, Titler, Sajjan Kumar. Now, I know the pain when the matters are dragged. I know the pain personally. I have seen the pain in of those victims when the matter is dragged.
Yes.
The cases should be decided at the earliest. Absolutely no doubt about it. But the BJP should not do the manipulations the way Congress has been doing. That is the doubt.
But the act right now,
this, if I can give you
Mr. Fulka, judge us on our actions. Your doubt as an eminent lawyer is well taken. As I said earlier also, we have regard for the work you've done in the 1984 case. We don't want this kind of murder of justice in this country.
But Kohli ji, unfortunately, what you did in Gopal Subramaniam's case, that is raising the serious doubt.
Mr. Fulka, that's a view. And since the law minister also has chosen not to speak on it, I don't think it is appropriate. There are views and counter views. However, on the 1984, I'm on the record and I'm saying it. We may be on opposite sides of the political scale. We have tremendous respect for a man like you who doggedly chased it for such a long period. And this kind of perversity
so much,
should not
Kohli ji,
happen with
please.
anyone. I'm saying
Now you are in government.
Leave our political hats. We need that. And exactly, and I'm hoping that you will judge us by our actions. You may have doubts, but judge us by our actions.
I think there also a responsibility comes in of everyone, including the media, that when these cases go up, we also need to question the level of prosecution work which has been done or not done, the evidence collected and whether it is disregarded. Not just report on what matters appear and how they finally appear in courts. I agree with that point. Yes, Gaurav Bhatia, last point before we close tonight.
Yeah, two longest pending criminal trials are of Harin Pathak of BJP for 24 years. It has been pending, and Mr. Vittal Bhai has been pending for 22 years. I think that needs to be looked into.
You are incorrect as a lawyer. Let me remind you, it's the murder of the former Chief Minister of Bihar. Your figures are wrong, Mr.
I am not.
Gaurav
I am
Bhatia. Do
going
your
by
homework
the
and
report.
come. That goes to almost
Mr.
45
Narendra
years.
Modi, I am going by the ADR report. I am going by the ADR report.
No, that's why you haven't done your homework. I'm just simply pointing that out. You said the two longest. I'm correcting you. I'm not trying to demean you. Since you are a lawyer, so am I. I thought I should just point out that
24 years is a
That's
pretty
all.
long time to do justice.
Well, I mean, my grandfather is fighting a case for the last 42 years. I think that's pretty long too.
That two wrongs would not make a right. Two examples of 24 years.
No, I never said that. I never said that. I think again, everyone who's in public life, 1 year is a fair period, and both the names you are saying
Can
are
I
public
say one
figures.
thing?
So, Mr.
Can I say one thing,
about Mr. Bhatia?
Can I say one thing? Can I say one thing on a very serious note?
But I'm saying,
You know what viewers will ask today, Nalin?
So who's saying that that the Prime
Nalin,
Minister
you know
saying
what
don't
viewers
forget
will
the
ask,
BJP?
Nalin? What viewers will ask? Viewers will ask, especially so many hundreds of thousands will be watching tonight with their own history of cases they have fought, and we know how backbreaking it is. They're going to ask how lucky these politicians are. They're going to get their cases wrapped up in 365 days. What about all of us? We'll keep going from lower court to high court to Supreme Court, and we'll get crushed by the system.
Fair point, Mr. Goswami.
Yes.
Mr.
So you are
Goswami,
actually
right.
getting VVIP
That is the
treatment.
other side of it. And this government has said about speeding it up, which is what even the Chief Justice of India is speaking about. You are right about that too, because the ordinary citizen is even worse.
Well,
It's
gentlemen,
to be innocent and to be in the legal system.
Well, gentlemen,
and to be, unfortunately, with due respect, to be guilty and be in the criminal system.
I just feel that in today's day and age, it might be a little
Please
less.
don't try to enforce your agenda. That is what is expected out of you.
Well, if anyone tries to enforce their personal political agendas, there are enough watchdogs in this country to take care of it. Gentlemen, I thank you very much
For the last 1 month.
for a very spirited debate number 2 on the Newshour tonight.